Swift just confirmed one of the biggest things that we have been talking about and debating on for years. And it's definitely something that I think everyone needs to look into. In this video, I'm going to be breaking it down completely for you guys. That way, I save you a lot of time. And of course, you guys get to see exactly what's really happening here. So let's first start off with, of course, stablecoins. So Binance 2025 reports stablecoin volume hit $33 trillion, doubling Visa's volume. DeFi protocols generated $16.2 billion in revenue, surpassing NASDAQ and CME combined. This is pretty significant. Now, this got posted from Scott Melker. I did say what's even crazier is that this is just the first inning. We have a long game in front of us because, again, we are just at the beginning phase of stablecoin adoption. I mean, you got to think about it like this, right? Like stablecoins hitting these crazy volumes. I mean, we're not even at 300 million users of stablecoins, and we're hitting 33 trillion. Like, think about how crazy that stat line alone is. We have a lot more in front of us left to achieve for stablecoin adoption. Now, the big thing that I really want to talk about here is the rewiring of our financial system. It's 100% happening. It really is something to fully focus on, because I think that right now everyone's just looking at price action. And there was a quote in this space. I don't know who said it, but they essentially said that price action can be a major distraction when you're just looking at the charts. And it can. A lot of people are missing the big picture here simply because they are getting upset about price action. I'm not trying to take it away from you guys. I get it, right? Everyone's upset. You don't think that I'm upset about price action too? I 100% am as well. But when I'm seeing clear confirmation, like what we got today from Swift, let's just say it allows me to be comfortable right now with the price action. In fact, it gets me bullish on lower price action because it allows us to accumulate more. Now, I want to start off with the IMF, because the IMF back in the middle of December put out a post regarding over 100 countries now have instant payment systems. Interoperability and public-private collaboration will define the future of payments. Now, this is from Tobias Adrian. If that name doesn't sound familiar, it's okay. You might be new, but this is someone that was in the early 2016, 2017 meetings with Ripple, where you have Ripple sitting next to all these major central bankers. Yeah, Tobias Adrian was one that said that Ripple and XRP were great examples of atomic settlement and just movement in this new system. Now, this is a pretty lengthy breakdown regarding the rewiring of the global system of money. That's exactly what the title of this is. This got posted on November 6th. I went ahead and I summarized it with AI just so that everyone can, really kind of see the breakdown here. So global payments are undergoing a structural transformation, not isolated innovation, driven by technology, digital money, and demand for faster, cheaper, transparent systems. Fast payment systems now operate in 100 plus countries and are increasingly being linked across borders, cutting cost and settlement times with India, Brazil, Singapore, Thailand. Central banks are exploring digital money. Retail CBDCs are being tested with mixed uptake. Wholesale CBDCs are gaining momentum as a foundation for tokenized assets and settlement efficiency. Private digital money is expanding rapidly, especially stablecoins' $300 billion market cap, raising concerns about concentration, governance, and regulation. Payment innovation increasingly requires public-private collaboration, interoperability projects, multi-currency settlement platforms. Opportunities, greater financial inclusion. India's UPI at 20 billion transactions per month, lower remittance costs, and faster cross-border payments through interoperability. Risks are rising, especially from non-bank actors, big tech, wallets, fintechs, outside traditional regulation. We love to see that. Again, the private players, the non-bank actors, we support them. I think that, the fact that they're always putting them in this risk category, I love to see it. Because again, they're overlooking them. They're, just kind of not giving too much attention to them. They're just saying that they're risky. Technology and AI risk, systemic outages, fraud, sophisticated scams, central banks' roles in expanding to include oversight of non-bank payment providers, deep technical expertise in digital assets, blockchain, and AI, building public infrastructure, fast payments, KYC, fraud monitoring, interoperability, not replacement, is the most practical fix for broken cross-border payments. Regulation must be risk-based, tech-neutral, phased, and internationally coordinated. Bottom line, the future payment system must balance innovation, inclusion, stability, and regulation with strong global cooperation to manage new risk while unlocking efficiency gains. It's coming from the IMF. Because again, we are witnessing the evolution of our financial system. This goes all the way back to when Brad Garlinghouse quoted David Schwartz talking about the rewiring of the entire banking system. This got posted from Digital Perspectives back in the summer of 2025. But this video is what comes to mind when I'm starting to hear talks like this from the IMF and what we just got from SWIFT. But listen closely.
I also, as much as I admit, I love the XRP family. I love it, love it, love it. But I will say some, even in the XRP family, it's like, look, the Bitcoin community is not our enemy. They really are not. If they do well, we're going to do well. We might do better. It's just like, it's not a zero-sum game. And I think the one thing I learned, I was in Silicon Valley for 24 years. The one thing you learn is tech is not a zero-sum game. We're going to grow the pie. And David Schwartz was up here yesterday talking about rewiring the entire banking system and what this looks like maybe in 10 years or 20 years. We underestimate how big that change is and how profound it is. And we get there by being collaborative and working together, not against each other. Sorry, I'll shut up.
And yeah, I think that everyone is just overlooking how big this is going to be. We go over here as well. This is from Subjective Views. Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters predicts all global transactions will settle on blockchain, rendering all money digital and rewiring the financial system entirely. Do you see the common theme here? Rewiring the entire financial system.
Our belief, which I think is shared by the leadership of Hong Kong, is that pretty much all transactions will settle on blockchains eventually, and that all money will be digital. Think about what that means, a complete rewiring of the financial system.
And yes, this is exactly what's happening. I know that it's one thing to hear it from Brad Garlinghouse, right? Like maybe a lot of you just don't put a lot of weight behind his name because, hey, he's the CEO of Ripple. But when you hear it from the IMF, when you hear it from bankers, this is happening. Now, let's take a look at what SWIFT just announced. The future of digital finance is interoperable, and we are helping make it real. This is why I brought up this post from the IMF, because interoperability is crucial, and now SWIFT is on board. We've completed pioneering digital asset interoperability trials with BNP Paribas Security Services and Societe Generale Forge, as well as Intensa San Paolo. I hope that I'm saying that name correctly. I'm probably not butchering it, but regardless, Forge demonstrating how SWIFT can orchestrate tokenized asset transactions across multiple platforms. This builds on a broader set of recent trials, including ISO 20022 interoperability between blockchains with HSBC and also Ant International. By the way, something we've debated on for years. ISO 20022 enabling interoperability between blockchains and traditional systems. This is why I said that ISO 20022 is so important to focus on, not because it's a price driver, not because it's huge for assets. It's a crucial piece connecting digital and TradFi. Fiat and digital currency settlement with Citi, digital asset transaction exchange with Northern Trust and Reserve Bank of Australia, bridging tokenized assets with UBS Asset Management and Chainlink. With this work now complete, we're focused on adding a blockchain-based ledger to our infrastructure stack to enable real-time 24/7 cross-border payments in collaboration with more than 30 global banks. We are paving the way for our members to adopt digital assets and currencies with confidence and at scale. Now, you might be concerned that, oh, hey, they're adding a blockchain-based ledger that they're building with banks. That means that they're going to replace XRP, right? No, this is still a private initiative. We still need interoperability between this and other networks. We also have already major institutional players choosing public blockchains. So all of this still needs to be connected. It doesn't replace anything. Now, I went ahead and also summarized this with AI. Swift completed a major digital asset interoperability trial showing it can coordinate tokenized bond transactions, including exchange and settlement. Now, we went over a few of these things. Obviously, it enabled seamless coordinated settlement of tokenized bonds, delivery versus payment, interest payouts, redemption across blockchain with traditional systems. It's the first time Swift has demonstrated end-to-end orchestration of tokenized assets and traditional finance in one flow. By the way, this is so important because Swift is showing you that it's an orchestration infrastructure. It is not a settlement system. Mainly messaging only. They do not settle transactions. They do not clear transactions, which is why Swift is not replacing anything around a settlements or clearing platform. This builds on other experiments linking tokenized assets with payment systems, enabling fiat and digital currency settlements, enabling ISO 2022 blockchain interoperability with partners like UBS, Citi, Northern Trust, HSBC, and others. And there we have the clear confirmation. When we go back to the top here where it says coordinated settlement, because you guys might be saying, well, Nick, I thought they're not a settlement or clearing platform. Yeah, it's because they're tapping into blockchain and traditional systems. They are now interconnecting blockchain and traditional systems where that enables the settlement, the movement of value. Swift now plans to add a blockchain-based ledger, which we talked about. The goal is to act as a neutral orchestrator, connecting traditional rails and emerging digital networks, helping financial institutions transact securely and efficiently, and supporting broader digital finance adoption. So right there, you have the clear confirmation that Swift is moving beyond messaging to enable interoperability between financial players, traditional financial players, and digital asset systems. This blockchain ledger is not a replacement. In fact, it's the enabler of interoperability between blockchain and traditional players like big banks. The fact that Swift has 11,000 banks tied back to their name, they are enabling connection between 11,000 banks and blockchain-based systems now. This is a very significant update from Swift. Now, when we think about this, how big of an update really is this for players like Ripple and even XRP? Well, this actually builds on top of everything that we've talked about with Ripple and XRP. I've shared my thoughts on this many times over, right? Like I made a post in the group on X back in April of 2025. Because again, everyone was starting to talk about ISO 2022. This quote here where they are talking about bridging traditional and decentralized finance, where you have players like Circle's USDC and Ripple's XRP. This is again from the head of transaction banking at Standard Chartered. Yeah, this was that clear confirmation of exactly what Swift is doing here. This is why ISO 2022 was so important. This is why I put a focus on ISO 2022 as an enabler of major use cases with blockchain. For anyone that told you that ISO 20022 was useless, that it didn't have anything to do with blockchain, send them this announcement with Swift, because this unlocks digital finance at global scale, and it also brings in thousands of banks to be exposed to blockchain-based technology. Now, what blockchains could be tied to this? Well, it could be pretty much any blockchain, because this is pure interoperability. Network to network. We know that Swift can be working with pretty much any big player. I mean, Chainlink, for an example, they could be an interoperability stack player here. You could also have Quant tied to this. You could have pretty much any interoperability stack tapped in here, because blockchain to blockchain interconnectivity is extremely easy to solve, which means any network can be tied to this now. So nobody can tell you, no, XRP won't be tied to this. XRP can 100% be tied back to this. This is pure interoperability. We don't know if it's going to be, but it has the possibility of being connected to this. The main thing that we are looking at here is the fact that, yeah, we are seeing a complete rewiring of our financial system. We have clear confirmation from SWIFT. IMF, the IMF has been talking about this for years. This is not brand new, but we're seeing a clear confirmation across the board. When we think about the rewiring of the entire banking system and also the financial system, yeah, it's happening. When SWIFT is telling you this, 11,000 banks on board of the SWIFT network, one of the largest payment networks in the world, you better listen. This stack, this tech stack that they're building here, it's beneficial for the entire space. They're not replacing the space. No, they're enabling and complementing the networks in this space that are very efficient for value movement and settlement. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.